Hey guys, this is Goku, and on this channel we talk about poker and ideas that can improve your life. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and click the subscribe button because I'll be honored to have you here. Today we're gonna jump into another GTO Trainer session, and this time we're playing the spot cutoff versus big blind single raise pot, 100 big blinds spot, and we're still playing on the Simple GTO Trainer. I think I'm gonna play one or two, maybe three spots here just to test out the software, and then I'm gonna try out Poker Snowy, and after that we will do a little summary which GTO training software feels the most natural for me and is the most beneficial for practicing my own game. And you guys can also jump in the comments and tell me what you think and which piece of software is best for your needs. But for now, let's jump right into it and let's play 100 hands of this spot. So maybe before we start, we can take a look at the range of the cutoff. So the cutoff is opening here a fairly standard, I would say, opening range. Ace deuce suited plus, king 8 suited plus with some lower kings as well, but not played 100% of the time. Ace 10 off plus with ace 9 played 80% and ace 8 played 30% of the time. And yeah, as you can see, it's probably easier to just take a look at the graph and not have me talk about it. And if we take a look at the villain's range, what is the big blind calling here with? I think it also makes a lot of sense. You can see that the villain, even sometimes, rarely of course, but 0.07% of the time has here ace king off. Right, he's not three betting it once in a blue moon. But nonetheless, let's see what we have here. We've got ace 6 of diamonds on a queen 10 6. We're gonna of course c-bet it, and the solver is playing here 59% check, 41% c-bet. We get raised, and do we call here with ace 6? Do we re-raise or do we fold? Mostly we rolled 81, so we should go with the most frequent play. I think the most frequent play would be to fold this hand, of course, and not to call. So we're off to not the greatest start, but nonetheless, let's go into the next one. We've got kings on the queen 6-8. We're gonna c-bet a whole lot of the time, 95, 96. There's an ace on the turn. We're gonna continue betting a lot of the time, but you see just 57% of the time. And now there's a jack of hearts on the river, and I think we're gonna go check call. And the villain checks behind and shows ace jack, so we lose the pot. Ace 7 of diamonds on the queen deuce jack is gonna be, oh, now we're on the big blind, so we're gonna check 99.9% of the time, and we're gonna go check call, or maybe that's a spot where we'd like to 3-bet sometimes. I think mostly we call here. Okay, mostly we fold here. And this is again a bad decision and a pretty bad one to call here. Yeah, we're on 100 big blind stacks. But, well, 8-5 of spades versus ace king king. We're gonna check it. And we're gonna fold to the bet. Jack 8 of spades on the 9-6-6. Oh, that might be Oh, we're on the big blind. It's kind of messing with my head. Whether we're on the big blind or not, but now we are on the cutoff, and we see that we should check here 24% of the time and bet 76%. EV is pretty much the same. King on a turn, we check the flop, so we're gonna do a delayed c-bet right now, and we see the solver likes this line and does it almost always here. Big blind checks now on the 3 of spades, and I think this is a good spot to overbet here, and we see the solver playing a mixed strategy of checking 82% of the time, checking behind, betting half pot 15% of the time, and overbetting 3%. And yeah, we got called, unfortunately, so we lost that. Now we're on the big blind with ace-jack suited. We're gonna check, of course. Cutoff checks behind, so now we're gonna lead with our 2 pair. But we see the solver is still doing a lot of checking here, 61%. And now we hit another jack on the river. And I think I would overbet here quite a bit. I would check here as well, decent amount of time. And I would sometimes also bet 10. So I'm just thinking 16%. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be an overbet. And we see the solver is not overbetting here that much or at all, pretty much. It's checking 12% of the time and betting 3/4 pots, pot size bet with 88% of the time. We see the EV loss is pretty much, yeah, 0 is very low, but the solver prefers to bet 3/4 here instead of overbetting. Now you got ace-8 on the big blind on the 6-7-5. I'm gonna check here. We hit an ace on the turn, so we're gonna lead. And the solver likes checking here once the ace hits. I guess it's because we have the 8 and an open ender. But okay, now we have aces on the cutoff on the queen 10 deuce. We're gonna go for the c-bet, of course, and the villain folds. Another aces on 8-6-6. We're gonna once again go for the c-bet, and we see the solver is actually checking here a decent amount of time, 46%, and we get raised. And we're gonna just call that, and the solver is also doing that pretty much 100%. 4 of hearts on the turn means we are going to bet at this. No, we should actually check. I kind of like betting here to find out where I'm at. But of course, falling to a shove and also falling to a river shove and probably a decent size bet as well. But checking here 100% of the time. I'm definitely not playing like this, so I need to be. Okay, 7-4 of clubs on an ace-8-5, all hearts. We're on the big blind, so we're checking. Oh, this is a spot where we should lead 58% of the time. Good to know. We've now hit our 7, so we're gonna lead now. But the solver actually likes checking here more. We're gonna check on the river, and we go to showdown where we unfortunately lose versus a jack. King 9 of spades on a queen deuce jack with 2 hearts. We're on the cutoff, so we're c-betting here 99% of the time. 8 of diamonds on the turn. I think we're gonna check this a decent amount of time, but the solver also likes betting 65% of the time here. And on the ace now, on the river, I think we want to go for a bet sometimes, but yeah, mostly we should check. 97.5%. We should check. We should bet 3/4, 2% of the time, and overbet 0.5% of the time. Queen 10 off on a 9-7-5 with 2 hearts. We're on the big blind, so we're checking. Ace of hearts on the turn. I'm gonna check once again. And we're gonna fold to a bet. 3 deuce of diamonds on an 8-7-10. On the big blind, we're checking. Now there's a king of diamonds. We're checking once again. We see the solver likes betting here as well. And yeah, likes betting much more. Does that 92% of the time. But if we're checking, I think we should check raise, but not check raise all in. And this is the only option we have, so I don't really like that. And I'm just gonna call here, of course. And the solver would rather fold. And there's a jack of spades on the river. And now we have to overbet it and fold to a shove. And the solver actually likes more betting 3/4 here than overbetting, which is quite weird. And we see the villain went all in with ace queen here, so the villain's also playing pretty. The villain's also hitting pretty well. 6s on a queen 7 tray. We're gonna check on the big blind and call the bet, and that's the line. The solver takes as well. We're gonna check once again on the turn once the 4 hits. And I think we're calling here again 50% of the time and folding 50. And now once we've hit our straight, I think we gotta check once again. And the solver agrees with this line. Excuse me. But unfortunately the villain doesn't pull the trigger and checks behind. Now we've got ace 9 off on a king queen 7. We're c-betting on the cutoff 85% of the time. Another queen on the turn. We can check now. And we see the solver likes betting here 63% of the time. And on the 8 of hearts, I think we're just gonna check behind. And the solver actually likes overbetting here with this hand. But we see that the EV of the decisions are pretty similar, so it's a weird spot really. Ace king of hearts on a queen jack 9. I think we're c-betting it a lot. We're gonna continue on the 4 of hearts, obviously, and the villain folds. Queen 9 off on a 3 deuce 9. It's gonna be a c-bet a lot of the time. Yeah, we see the GTO, or the solver, only checking 6% here. Jack 10 off on an ace queen 6. We're checking on the big blind. And we're gonna call here. 84. Yeah, 16% we can re-raise here. We've hit our straight on the turn, but we're gonna check once again. The villain checked behind. So now I think I will overbet here a lot. And so I'm gonna do that. But we see the solver once again prefers betting 3/4 over overbetting. And we actually got called, so that's cool. But the solver's also doing a lot of checking here, 51%. Which is also quite interesting. I think I'm in this spot I'm playing like 50% over bet, 30% bet 3/4, and 20% check. So yeah, the solver's playing it completely differently. Ace deuce of diamonds on a jack deuce 5. On the big blind we're checking and we're calling. We hit an ace on the turn. I'm gonna check once again. 3 of clubs on the river. Do we check now? Do we bet? Think we again mostly bet here. I'm gonna do that. And this is actually a spot where we overbet a lot. And we're doing no checking. And I was actually thinking about checking. Like probably 30% of the time or 40. Interesting. Ace 10 of diamonds on a 9 king king. On the cutoff we're gonna c-bet. We see the solver's also checking quite a bit. Now there's a 9 of hearts and the villain leads for 3/4. We're gonna call that 95% of the time. And on the queen of spades we're gonna check behind because there's no reason to bet. And we win at showdown, so that's nice. Ace 6 of spades on the queen on a 9-7-5. We're c-betting. And the solver's doing 40% of checking here. Villain folds. Pocket deuces on a queen deuce 10 with 2 hearts. We're checking on the big blind. Jack of diamonds on the turn. We're gonna bet now. And the villain folds, unfortunately. 6-4 of diamonds on a 7 deuce tray. That might be a lead. It's not. Should be a check 98% of the time. We get raised though. So do we call here with our gut shot? Or do we give up? I think, on 100 big blinds, I would always call it. And yeah, now the solver agrees. But we actually had a similar hand at the beginning where the solver didn't agree with the line, but maybe the raise was bigger. King of diamonds on the turn. And we're gonna check it. And the solver likes betting here a lot. It pretty much only bets here once the king hits. And it makes a lot of sense actually. Because we not only pick up the straight flush to go with our gut shot, a flush but we also can represent a king. But nonetheless, we go to the next one. Pocket deuces on an 8-6-4. We check from the big blind. And we call. And the solver likes to just fold pocket deuces on a board like that. Guess it makes sense. EV loss is small, but yeah, where can we get here with these pocket deuces? We pretty much only hope that the villain will give up or that we hit a deuce. And our last hand, we've got king 3 suited on a jack 10-9. We're gonna check it. And we're gonna call it. And the solver would just fold here with our gut shot, possible backdoor flush. And of course it makes sense. Around 100 big blind stack, I would probably play looser here. But the solver's not doing that. So we played our 25 hands for the day. Our overall EV result is minus 14 BBs of EV loss. So quite a lot, I would say. We had this first hand minus 3.4. Then we had this minus 2 hand minus 2.96. Minus 2.48. Yeah, so we had 4 pretty bad hands. So not the greatest session ever. But I think also not the worst one. So I enjoyed playing it. I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. If you stayed this long, please leave a comment below. Just write GTO or ask any question you might have. Check out the description of this video for links to playlists to other GTO spots that we've played in the past. And once again, I really appreciate you watching this, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.